Hey everyone, thanks for joining another Wednesday Skillbridge here at CloudTask. So let's dive straight into our mini lesson as far as what is an activation and what's a top rated badge and what it allows you to do. And then we'll go into our success stories and our Q&A session. So let's jump into it. Let's share screens straight into it, guys and gals. All right, cool. Make sure I'm sharing the right screen. All right. So as you guys can see, right over here, joining straight to the main page where I can see all the candidates, right? So there's a few filters on here. All right, cool. I can see top rated plus badge, top rated, the colors. You guys will get used to, noticing the difference, right? So green is top rated plus. Now we have Felicia. We have Ahmed. All right. I think I spoke to Ahmed yesterday. Ahmed actually should be with that top rated badge. So let's see. What is the initial things that you can see once a profile is activated? The picture, right? The name, the city, the country where you reside. What's the main role you're interested in? And then a quick title. So guys, the picture, the more professional, the better, right? So if you're at the beach without a shirt, probably not the best. If it's a Christmas picture and you have a picture with your dog and you're well dressed, why not, right? Nowadays we could definitely do that. If you're at a family gathering and it's 7 people in the picture, we're not sure who it is that's looking for that job, right? So headshots would definitely be the most appropriate. The more professional, the better. That's it. As you can see, they get more and more professional as we go. Some might be a little bit more casual. So besides the headshot, guys, the title is very important. Think of the title just like a subject line, right? If someone sends you an email and the subject line is completely off, or you can tell it's very AI generated, you might not be as inclined to clicking on the email and checking out the rest of the body, right? So Christopher, 7 years of experience in B2B SaaS, skilled in Zoho CRM, HubSpot, and ChatGPT as a results-driven sales professional. Okay, I like that. That's better than what I'm used to seeing. Let's see Dejeen. Dejeen, we have over 4 years experience in the BPO industry. I like the 4 years. Now, it is a lot shorter, obviously, right? So without thinking subject line for your title, you guys could tell a little story. Think about an impacting, titles of, let's say maybe it's a positioning statement, a mission statement, right? Should be focused more on, your relevant roles, right? And the industries you've worked in. But Dejeen, I'd give you a 6 out of 10. Christopher, you get an 8 out of 10. Let's see. Reliable administrative assistant and customer service coordinator delivering organized, efficient, and client-focused support. Some numbers would have been good in that title, honest for Chelsea. But I think you guys get the idea of what a title should have or what shouldn't it have, right? Let's see if there's another example. So here's an example, right? Not to pick on Sue Ellen, but Sue Ellen, I can already see your name here. You are active because you have an About Me section, you have your work experience listed, and you have a video where you probably didn't mention your last name. All right, great. You went a little
My
bit
name
different
is Roland.
screens. Now, you don't have a top rated badge because the title needs to be a lot more impactful. So this would be a good example. Now, Esther, I would give you probably an 8.5 or 9. Salesforce CRM, lead generation, SDR prospecting, executive assistant. Well, you know what? Let me go back on that. Esther, I'll give you a 7. I give you a 7. You are giving some good names there, but again, they're just titles. It would be better to hear, let's see, Tatenda, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, plus 2 years of experience as a virtual operations partner with expertise in data management, AI training, and workflow optimization. I'd give you a 9, definitely a 9. So guys, as you can see, the title, and I could probably zoom in a little bit more, the title and the picture is the first thing that they're checking out. Next comes the price, right? What is that monthly range you guys are in? If you guys just have one fixed price, like my man Clifton, I highly recommend you give yourself a range, right? Gives a little bit of a playing room, a little bit of negotiation before even joining that interview. If there's commissions involved, you might be able to, play around with that base. So I highly recommend you guys put a range. Don't just put a set price. All right. Now, moving forward, the video. Well, no, before that, I'm sorry. So the picture, the title, and then the range that you're in. Okay, now I'm gonna check it out. Let's see. Now I have the work experience is the first piece. I do have details. All right. I have some certificates and awards. All right. What industries have you worked in before? Great. This person has their profile filled out. Experience. They have one experience listed, two experiences. Not bad. The more the merrier, but the more relevant for sure. Right. So I have over 12 years working as well. Worked at Mickey D's when I was 16, 17. I'm not going to list that necessarily here. So again, I would list the most relevant and also the most recent experience, right? But one or two, not enough. I'd say minimum 3 work experiences. And again, 5, 6, 7. The more relevant, the better. So work experience is now what the hiring companies are fixating on. All right. Now we're going to check out a video, right? So in order to get activated, guys, you need to have a professional picture. You need to have a title. You need to have your monthly rate. Of course, you can't have $0. Or if you have $1, I'm going to let you know that that's not your hourly, or sometimes, I've seen some crazy numbers. So make sure that you have a monthly base. And finally, you'll need to have that About Me section, right? So we haven't even gotten to the About Me section. The About Me section should be, focused on your previous work experience. You can list you have a dog, and you could list that you currently live XYZ, and, your hobby is, reading. But again, the About Me section, they want to know about what type of tools, software you've used, what type of industries you've worked in, what type of roles you've had, right? Any success stories. If you're able to throw in any percentages, numbers, let's say time frames, right? Some milestones. If you help the company make $1,000 in a year, that's not the same as the saying on the first day of work, right? So keep that in mind. Now let's see. Moving forward, the About Me section. Now, guys, those are the main things you guys need in order to get activated. You need a professional picture, like I said. You need that title, an About Me section, work experience, and obviously your monthly base. All right. Now, to get that top rated badge, and like I've mentioned on another Skillbridges, if you guys have updated some of your profile, reach out to the CloudTask team. Let us know, hey Danny, hey Blue, hey Arturo, Mateo, I've already updated the information you suggested. Please check it out. I think I should be a top rated. And it's not just having a cool little medal. If you're top rated or top rated plus, you're able to apply directly to the job opportunities, right? So no longer do you need to, wait around and be visible, because that's the difference, right? If you're activated, you're visible to companies. But if you have a top rated badge, you can actually go in, check it out. If you're logged in to your account and you have a top rated badge, that's when you can check out the job post. Right now, I am not logged in, as you can see, but since I'm not logged in, you would scroll down to the bottom and you would check out where it says browse clients, right? Once that comes up, you see how we have job posts and agency requests. You want to make sure that you're looking at job posts, because you guys aren't an agency. Now, job posts are right here. Now I can see business development partner, remote SDR. All right. Just like the title in your profile. Is that enough to motivate me to click on it? All right, let's check it out. I'll double check. I'm sorry. Yeah. Why won't it let me open? There we go. Check out the rest of it. And then again, if I have a top rated badge, I will be able to request an interview, right? If you don't have a top rated badge, you're not able to. So let's make sure that if you don't have a top rated badge, you're working and striving to becoming, that top rated, right? So let me stop sharing real quick. Remember, if you guys have any questions, feel free to jot them down. We do have a Q&A session towards the end, but if questions come up during a specific, portion of the presentation, we can definitely go into that. So, guys, activation to top rated. That's basically the difference. Now, the video is that game changer. Your English level as well, right? So, if you do have a B2, I would say you're in the race for that top rated badge. If you have a B2 or lower, I'm sorry, if you have a B1 or lower, you're most likely going to have a lot more work experience, right? You're going to have, a great video where you're projecting confidence, you're able to express yourself in a very specific way, and you have a very complete profile, right? So all I'm saying with that is, if your English level starts going lower, you need to make sure that work experience is there, that your profile is even more complete, your profile is looking even more impacting, right? So the video, guys, it is a way that companies are able to feel comfortable. I'm okay with Danny representing my brand, my company, let it be for a customer support role, a marketing role, a sales role, a sales account executive, sales manager, right? So you guys may know all the roles, but if not, log in and check them out. But where I'm getting at is, they will be able to check that out based off of your video. Do I feel comfortable? Do I feel confident that this individual might be able to represent my company in the right way? Let's get on an interview. Let me get that interview. So, of course, at the end of the day, your English level experience, and then weighing probably the same, your video intro is what gets you that top rated badge. So if you're one of those that, does it on the first take and you feel like, hey, I don't even want to look at it, let's just go with it. Don't do that. Don't be that person, right? Check it out. You're probably going to notice that you could have done it a little bit better. You seemed a little nervous, and I had to compose myself, right? So if you guys are realizing that you seem nervous on the video, submit it. Okay, that's fine. You can resubmit it. You can reach out to CloudTask. Guys, what do you think about the video? Some of you guys are just, giving it up to, let's see what happens, and praying for the best, right? So make sure that you keep that in mind. Your video is the door opener or closer, for these interviews. It will decide if a company wants to entertain a conversation with you guys. If you're a lot more fluent normally with your friends out at the bar, just chilling and talking, then retake your video, retake it, get your ideas together. And then again, don't read off of your script, get your script going, rehearse it. And then once you're ready, hit play, and then try and re-record your video, right? A lot of you guys are, doing a script, but also making sure that you guys are actually doing the opposite, and it's reading word for word, right? If I was here reading, hey guys, welcome to CloudTask Skillbridge. I'm very pleased to see you guys today. And so I'll sound a lot more paused. You'll see my eyes go left, right, left, right, left, right. So again, you're probably not going to be as connected. And it's the same idea with these hiring companies, right? So awesome. Let's move on now to the success story. What's a success story? A successful interview. And this is one that we shared, last week. If you didn't see it, you're seeing it now for the first time. If you did, once again, we change it. We switch it up once a month. All right. But again, this was a really good success story from my man Solomon. Let's check it out. And what I do have on the side are some timestamps, right? So if you guys see that, I'm just going to try and showcase the video slowly, but want to make sure that, we're being efficient as we go. So I was able to get some timestamps for you guys. Let's see, window, and there we go. So while Solomon's on there on his own, right, I'll briefly explain. So 19 seconds in, so pretty soon Jacob will be joining. A minute 57, Jonas will be joining, right? They are the people hiring them. One of the pros that we typically go into, guys, is we make sure that you guys are early, right? We're definitely going to share a few do's and don'ts in a few minutes after this success story. But again, one of those main ones would be show up early, right? So 1 minute 57, Jonas gets on. Right now, they're going to have a formal intro by the 2-minute mark, but giving you guys a heads up. Right now, it's just formalities.
Sorry, it seems like I ended up as you, Jacob, in a HubSpot hole.
Happens to the best of us.
That's okay, no problem.
I was
Appreciate you
telling
guys joining me today.
I was telling Solomon that we'd hang off on the formal introductions until you were here, just so we didn't have to repeat each other, but for ourselves. But yeah, my name is Jacob. It's great to meet you. I oversee the AE team here, and I wear a few other hats too, so I'm pretty integrated into the work life of Flash Intel, if you will. So it's great to meet you. And then we have Jonas here, and I'll let him run through a quick intro of himself as well.
Yep, I'm Jonas. I'm the VP of Revenue, so I'm trying to have control over most things that bring some income to the company. Where CSM, of course, is one important part to retain and keep customers happy and do some upsell, right?
Absolutely. Appreciate the intros. So I'm Solomon. I'm a customer success manager. Got about 5 years experience in SaaS as a CSM. And prior to that, I spent about 3 years as an SDR, business development rep, working in SaaS sales in San Francisco. So I got kind of a hybrid background between sales and post sales as well.
Walk me through a little bit of that just real quick while we're talking about it. Solomon, what software were you?
So quick parentheses there. As you guys heard, Jacob runs more of the AE department, right? He heard SDR and he definitely got excited, right? So you're going to see that most of the interview is going to have questions, coming from Jacob. Towards the end, at the 15-minute mark, that's when Jonas actually gets into it. But it's pretty much a done deal in the sense of they really like they really like Solomon's interview. He's moving along, right? So once again, that's why we're showcasing this video. So as you guys can see, there's going to be quite a few questions coming in from Jacob. And then things that we've brought up in the past is make sure you guys are there early. That was done very well. Make sure that you guys research about a company in case they ask you, what do you know about us? What do you love about us? Make sure you're able to have an elevator pitch about yourself in case they say, tell me about yourself. Or I like how naturally and genuinely this came up. The company went first. Great. Now I'm going to be a professional, not show that even if I'm a little nervous, I'm going to go ahead and grab the mic and say, it's my turn. So my name's Solomon. I'm 28 years old. I'm 32 years old, right? So that was done very well. You don't wait for them to tell you, hey, tell me a little bit about your work experience, right? You go ahead and you grab the bull by the horns, right? So very well done there. And then again, being able to do some research about the company is just good enough that you don't have to become a subject matter expert, but you do need to be able to say, I understand, or I researched, I noticed you guys have XYZ products. I'm not sure. Notice you guys have 7 different products. Not sure which one I would be representing or if all, right? So you should do a little bit of research. But great. Let's get into these questions that Jacob has for Solomon.
You selling as a CSM and or as a BDR?
Sure. So as a BDR, I started out at a small startup called Building Connected. It was construction-focused software. They were eventually acquired by Autodesk. I then moved into an SDR role at On24. They are a webinar marketing platform. So we were highly focused on selling to marketers and training departments who were building and enable departments that were building out training materials for their internal teams. And that was actually where I got my first exposure to account management. The account rep that I was working with was focused on working with existing customers to find new business units. So I spent about 6 months of my time there really focused on existing customers. And that was my first exposure to the account management, customer success side of things. Really enjoyed that. I then moved on to another SDR role at Schedulo. This was pre-pandemic. And then I was moving out of the Bay Area and they were not going to accommodate remote work. So that's why I left that role. And then I started in customer success in January of 2020 and have been in customer success since then. So not sure if you have my resume, but I spent about 3 years at My Do Good, which was a platform where we facilitated sales meetings and gave charity donations in exchange for those meetings. So we had a list or a network of qualified IT individuals who would take vendor meetings, and in exchange for those meetings, we would make a donation to their charity of choice.
Make sure you guys double click on that. I'll backtrack just a little bit.
list or a network of.
He's expressing how one of the companies he worked before, they had a campaign where they were offering people conversations or a meeting, a demo book, right, for donations. Hey, Solomon, let me know what's the charity of your choice. I will make a $50 donation, and I'd love to have you on a quick demo so I could showcase what my software does, right? So very out there. There's probably a way better script than that, but basically that's what he's sharing. And then just double click. We'll double click on that in a second.
Qualified IT individuals who would take vendor meetings, and in exchange for those meetings, we would make a donation to their charity of choice. And then after that, I spent a year and a half at Commvault, big data backup and security company. Was there for a year and a half, managed enterprise customers, mid-market. SMB was largely covered by our digital team. So I was largely focused on mid-market and enterprise, had a $7 million portfolio, hit 110% of quota retention quarter over quarter there. And then most recently, I moved over to an independent contractor position at 80/20 REI. They're a real estate data focused company. And so now I'm looking for my next role, and CloudTask reached out about this opportunity, and that's how we got here.
Awesome.
Okay.
I appreciate that. Real quick, I'm just going to send our meeting bot. I was about to tell my meeting bot something, and then it wasn't here. So I'm just going to send it in here real quick because I just noticed that.
The new form of taking notes.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
I know you obviously haven't I've seen our system, but part of our system is our meeting bot. So we have a meeting bot that's integrated into our sales system. So I can come in later and talk to it and have it do all kinds of crazy cool stuff. However, I wanted it to note, and here it is, to talk to Jonas about NGOs and offering funding or donations for conversations. I love that idea. So yeah, just throwing that out there.
All right. So this was the part that I was stating that we could double click on, right? So within the intro, you have sparked an interest based off of your previous campaigns, experience, right? And it's like, hey, you know what? I actually wanted to speak to Jonas about MGOs, and I love the idea of providing a donation to the charity of choice of the individuals that we're prospecting. So again, that's very, very well done. As well, when Solomon was able to express his experience in such a elevator pitch, right? People have also stated that before. Hey, this seems like an elevator pitch when you're able to express yourself in such a clear, concise way. So very well done. And then when a company is willing to tell you a little bit more about how their ins and outs work, hey, yeah, that's actually one of our bots. It integrates with this and this. So that's also a good sign. Just saying, that's a good telltale sign for the hiring leaders, right? For salespeople, there's telltale signs for hiring leaders when they're already telling you a little bit more about how their software works, the ins and outs. It's always a positive, right? So let's continue.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that insight, Solomon. That gives me a good scope of your work history. And then how'd you meet CloudTask? What brought you to these guys, and how'd you start working with them?
So I actually live in Medellin, Colombia. And so that's how I found CloudTask. They were a network where it was really helpful for me when I'm looking for roles out here. Obviously, with the work from anywhere trend now, it's helpful to have agencies like this. So that's how I found CloudTask. I found Dave on LinkedIn. I found Amir on LinkedIn, and I've just been following those guys closely. I made my profile probably over a year ago. And then I've just been keeping track of them since then. I was previously employed, so I wasn't actively interviewing, but now looking to get back into the swing of things. And so this was the first conversation that CloudTask has kind of set up for me.
Awesome. I love that. And then walk me through a little bit about what you know about us, just kind of in your pre-interview research.
All right. So this is the moment where now it's, what did you research about us? Tell me a little bit about, what you know about us. Did you come into this interview completely blind? Are we just one of many hiring companies that you're looking to join? Right. So there's definitely some area of opportunity there for some of you. If you guys are researching, the minimum, and let's check out and see what Jacob says. If you have the company website open while you're stating it, hey, it's also a plus.
Yeah, so what I know about Flash Labs so far is you guys have two main products, it seems, to be Flash Rev and Flash AI. First, I want to make sure I'm on the right page with both of those. Those are kind of the primary targets. So in terms of Flash Rev, my understanding so far is it operates pretty similarly to how 6sense operate. It provides buyer data and sales intent data for sales team to use and how to target individuals. And then you have Flash AI, which is agentic AI, basically to do the outreach. That's kind of my understanding.
Yeah. Holistically, yeah. When we put it really simple, you could think, are you familiar with Clay?
Yes, I've heard of Clay as well. Yes.
Think of if Clay had outreach tools built into it, like Orem, Nooks, Chili Piper, and various other things with AI helping too. So our goal is really for companies to need one sales tool, and that's us. You don't need 10, right? You don't need to go spend $2,000 per rep to equip them with 10 tools. We're the solution for that. So really sophisticated platform, dude. It's a fun thing to sell. It's a fun company to be a part of. And that being said, we want to make sure we're keeping our customers happy, which is where you come into play. So walk me through, you had mentioned obviously some BDR work, and that BDR work is actually interesting to me, being that we sell
Guys, so I want to pause here just to say this is going to be key because, again, based on the role that you're looking for, but again, most of you guys are looking for SDR, just flip it around, but walk me through your SDR role. The way that Solomon does this is also very well done. Let's check it out.
Marketing and sales tool. We help people source meetings, book business, whatever. So walk me through kind of what your scope was, your day-to-day in those BDR roles.
Sure. Going back a while. So when I was a BDR, cold calling, all of my roles, none of them were inbound roles. So I was responsible for outbound cold calling, prospecting, working with my account executive to make sure not just that I'm targeting the right list, but that within that list, we're targeting the right companies. So I've had some AEs who were say, hey, my bread and butter is the healthcare space. That's what I want to go after. Let's prioritize healthcare systems and hospital systems to go after. Boom. If I'm on the same page with him, that makes my life easier. I hit quota. He hits his closed revenue goals, and we're all happy. And other roles, as I mentioned at On24, I was very focused on the account expansion piece. So working with existing business units. So those conversations were different. They were still cold outreach in the sense that I was reaching people for the first time. However, a lot of those came with internal referrals where I would name drop and say, hey, so-and-so is already using this. We've already passed your procurement process. We're an approved vendor. We have a use case that is specifically for enablement, specifically for trainings and webinars. Can we have a conversation? And so that's how a lot of those conversations went, where it was focused on just kind of using the warm lead to get a foot in the door and then allowing my account manager to go in and close the sale. And then after that, when I was at Schedulo, that was back to a purely outbound role. Everything was cold calling and prospecting. So typically 50 to 60 dials per day, cold emails, LinkedIn prospecting, exactly what you would expect from an SDR.
No, I appreciate that. And so my next question kind of piggybacks off of that. What made you want to commit to the CSM role over the account executive role? Obviously, there's a lot of similarities between those two, being that you've already kind of...
Something important here, guys, is more how do I get out of a sticky situation, right? So this might make some of you feel uncomfortable, but if you have experience as an SDR, CSR, sales manager, account executive, and now you're looking at an SDR role again, or vice versa, now you're looking at an account manager role, but your other experiences have been mainly AE, they're going to ask, right? Why did you switch? They want to see if you felt comfortable enough to say, hey, you know, the money just wasn't there. You know what? I just wasn't agreeing with the company that I was with, and I decided to leave, right? So you should definitely be honest, but the way you phrase things should be the most professional way, you know, possible. So make sure, keep that in mind when a question comes up and it is, you know, hey, why'd you choose the CSM route instead of the account executive route? If you don't mind me asking, you know, feel free to diagnose that. Take a second. You know, think about it. Some of you guys are just going straight into the question. You can take actually a second, mention, oh, okay, great. Yeah, it's been a while since someone asked me that question. I mean, the reason for it, right? And you could still compose your ideas. But yeah, let's hear it out.
Mastered the outreach side of it.
Before we close,
what made you choose the CSM route?
I really enjoyed the aspect of, I guess, in the SDR role, you know, you're either hunting or farming. I really resonated with the farmer role of being in there, getting in the weeds with a specific client, learning the different business units, saying, okay, once I know the product well enough, I can recommend, hey, you can use this in this manner. You can use this in this manner. And also with the sales background, I'm not afraid to have those more revenue focused conversations where it's not that I'm doing the sale itself, but to at least get the floodgates open, provide resources, answer some initial questions for them. That can go a long way for an account executive in warming the deal up. And so for me, I really excelled at that. And throughout my time in customer success, I just keep doubling down because I enjoy it. It's very different than the account executive SDR role where it's really fast paced. You're just having an initial conversation and then you hand it over to the AE, and then you have a conversation and you hand it over to the AE. For me, that was very hands off. And I prefer to be more involved and get to know how the business works. It's also a great learning opportunity for me to learn different industries and different characters and what their priorities are. And then, frame what I'm saying accordingly.
All right. So that was one of the last questions that Jacob asked. Jacob also asked if you had a customer with a technical issue that was above your understanding or knowledge, how would you be able to get them back on track in a successful manner, right? And then now Jonas goes into a few questions, but they're more formalities once again. Oh, you were in San Diego. Okay, great. By minute 223, where I want to fast forward to is where it's basically a done deal, and as far as they feel comfortable enough that they want to now share what it is that Flash Intel does. So let's get to that 22. Yeah, it says 2213 right before
booking your own meetings.
Absolutely.
And then, yeah.
I would absolutely consider it.
Our thinking
Sorry,
here
go ahead.
too, Salman, just to give you some insight on kind of our perspective. Our product is now we've been young, right? So our CEO, I don't know if you've checked him out much, Ishi, serial entrepreneur, has had 3 or 4 very successful exits prior to this, unicorns. He bootstrapped our company for the first 2 years before receiving a little bit of funding round. And we're now to the point where the product is like, it doesn't feel young anymore. It feels like everybody in the world needs to know about this thing because it's going to change the way a lot of people go about their sales. And so now we're ready to start scaling across some different markets. So if you're plugged into the local market and you've got resources for the local market, you can schedule meetings for yourself and close those and get business within, whether it's Colombia or California, whichever one. That's a really easy way for us to introduce you to our system, get you trained up, build a little book of business, and then you can just start managing the book of business and others' book of business as we transfer you into that CSM role. The same thing we kind of do with the AEs on the team. I start them as an SDR before they go AE, just so they can get familiar with the platform. So it's kind of that same thing, just obviously a little bit more designed for the AE role. The platform is a lot. I mean, it requires some marketing knowledge, some sales knowledge, some API coding knowledge, right? Like there's a little bit of everything. And I think you have some experience in it all. But there's a fair amount of technical aspects, like setting up marketing domains for customers as a part of our service, and all this different stuff that I just want to make sure that you're familiar with before we feed you to the fish, so to speak, of our customers we love, but they can be very demanding sometimes.
It's part of the CSM role is dealing with challenging customers, being able to manage different personality types. And hey, I've been on calls and I've just been sat there getting screamed at. I'm like, none of this.
All right, great. So I'll stop sharing for now. And that would be one of the successful interviews, right, guys? So I think he hit on many of the points. We could get into the do's and don'ts, right? As of now. And then once again, the first number do is be there early. If the interview is set for 8 a.m. Central Time, right? That means that if I get there at 7:55, 7:50, oh man, 7:50 is even better. But if I get there at 7:55, I'm going to be set up for success in case there's any type of lag, internet issues. It's not the right link. Danny sent it to a danny.dannyagadello.cloudtask.com email, right? So there's a lot of nuances that can happen. Make sure you guys are there early, right? Make sure you guys are there early. Now, researching a company, researching the person that you're about to be interviewed by, very important. I don't see many of you guys asking, hey, who is the person that's actually going to interview me? We'll share the company website, but it's very rare. It's very rare when I get the question, hey, may I have the person's LinkedIn may I have the person's role? I want to know who it is that's going to interview me, so that way you could be prepared. How many people are going to be on the interview typically? These questions never come from you guys as candidates. Make sure they start coming up, right? So make sure you guys are there early. Make sure you guys are researching not just the company, but who it is, the person that's going to interview you. On the flip side, don't be late. Don't reschedule an hour before the interview. Guys, if it's not an emergency, you shouldn't really be rescheduling, right? If you're caught in traffic, guess what you should be? You should be resourceful, and you should log in from your phone, and you should still turn on that camera, because the camera is a must. You should be turning on that camera. Even if your computer's acting up, you go on your phone and you grab your phone, and now your phone is your camera, and then you use your audio off of your computer, or vice versa. You tell them, hey, I'm going to jump off my computer, having a few issues. Let me get on my phone. And then you get on your phone, right? So we've covered be early, do some research, be resourceful. Do not reschedule don't reschedule an hour before the interview. An hour and 20 minutes, is it a lot better? No, but it's definitely a lot better than 60 minutes before the actual interview. Guys, if you're late to an interview once, they might pass that one. If you're late to an interview twice, you're probably not going to get a second chance. Vice versa, if you don't show up, it's very rare that they give you a chance. If they do give you a chance and you don't show up number two, you can pretty much know what's the next step, right? There is no next step with that company, right? We got to focus on the next company and being extra early and making sure we show up. What else can I tell you guys? Besides that, make sure you guys are dressing professionally. Yes, I know that the old saying, don't judge a book by its cover, from, when we were little kids, that's what was told. It's the complete opposite in the real world. Make sure you guys are dressed to impress. Not saying that you should cancel an interview if you haven't, been able to go to the barbershop, right? Everyone will state, the urgency of when they need a job. But if you're not in your car, would be best. If you're looking for a remote job, being in somewhat of a remote environment would be best. Make sure that you don't negotiate salary on your first interview. Again, just a recommendation. Be prepared if the question comes up, hey, Daniel, how much are you looking to make on a monthly basis, both, base and OTE, on target earnings? What are you trying to make on bonuses and commissions? So be prepared for the question, but don't willingly say, yeah. Or if they ask you at the end, do you have any questions? Do you have any questions for me, right? On interviews, typically you will have questions, or they'll ask you. If they don't ask you, you should have one or two questions ready to go. Make sure one of those two questions aren't, can you tell me when I get vacation? What does paid time off look like? What does that base look like? And is there any way that we can negotiate to $2,250 instead of $2,000? I noticed that you guys are offering $2,000. Use impacting questions. So make sure that you use a question that is showcasing your curiosity about the role that you're applying for, and make sure that it helps you be able to add on to the question. So maybe it's something like, if I'm being looked at as a sales manager, right, I might want to ask something as simple as, right, as of now, right, how many clients or how many SDRs is the current SDR manager managing? Portfolio of clients. If you're a customer support person, technical support person, and you research the company and you notice that they don't have a chat bot, you might say, hey, notice you guys don't have a chat tool. I've used chat in the past. Is there any reason why X company is not using a chat function, chat tool to speak with clients in real time? I've seen this to be very efficient, right? So you're already speaking, you're asking a question, and you're able to speak with a little bit more experience, right? So make sure that you guys are asking impacting question. Don't negotiate base salary, commissions on the first interview. Wait till you're invited to the second one, the third one, right? And then finally, to close off on the do's and don'ts, make sure that if there's any assignment given to you guys, this is a competition. You're not the only person being given that assignment to. So quality over quantity, but don't take that to heart. and don't take 72 hours, a full week, a full month, right? This is a competition. There's someone that's a lot hungrier than you. So make sure that you guys know that this is a competition, right? Get that assignment done. Check out, make sure if you didn't understand it, re-emphasize it, ask a question. We'll pass that on to the company. So that would be some of the do's and don'ts. Let's move on to the Q&A session and close off this Skillbridge, guys. So let's see what type of questions the community has. All right. So any tips for rookies on GTM? Clay, Neon, make all this. It's a little overwhelming to get a job for entry level on the agreed 100% Maudo. And the two, the two softwares that we actually recommend would definitely be Clay, right? We definitely mentioned that Clay is one of the big ones out there. I know you started using them probably a year and a half ago, become an expert nowadays. Overall, I would say even getting into the complexities of GTM, Mauro, would definitely be following the individuals that are in our community in GTM, right? So we have Javier, we have quite a few individuals off the top of my head that, I don't know why Javier is the first one that's coming up, but we could definitely speak to Javier. There's another Mauricio from Mexico that we can discuss. And then they would be great points of contacts, right? Because again, besides the software itself, you all know if you have a budget or not. If we're looking for more of these freemium tools, more of these knowledge bases where it is free, we could definitely check out, those specific sites. Now, there are other paid processing softwares that you guys could take on. But I would definitely recommend the individuals, the remote candidates that are in our marketplace. We could definitely, reach out, also check out their profile, see what they were doing to get started. But great question, Mauro. All right, my man, Christian Perez. Hey, Daniel and everyone, I've made some changes on my CloudTask Marketplace. With all the tips you gave me, question, I've seen some recent candidates that are being promoted so fast and getting hired quickly. What can I do to be promoted by you guys so I can increase my chances to land interviews? Great question, Chris. So as long as you have a top-rated badge, you are able to apply. If you have that top-rated plus, the differentiator between top-rated plus and top-rated is you're not being promoted just organically, right? We are placing you on paid advertisement. So if you guys are on that top-rated plus, know that you guys are getting placed on paid advertisement campaigns, right? Now, if you've taken into account, Chris, everything, there's also a boost program that we have, right? The boost program is enabling you to have an automated sequence go out from your LinkedIn, enticing companies to reach out, right? Via the marketplace, right? So we're able to share your profile immediately. So this is also one of those proactive sides that you can take on. If you're not part of the boost program, Chris and anyone else, we can speak to Arturo, Blue, David Gomez, David Minjura, and get you guys involved into that boost program. Now, what do you need in order to be in the boost program? We're using LinkedIn's verification badge as one of our checkboxes. So if you guys don't have that verification, please go ahead and get it. And as well, the other way would be, I believe, besides the verification badge, is if you have a work email, right? So if you're currently a passive candidate and you have a work email, you would be able to use that. I honestly wouldn't recommend that option. I would definitely say do your best to get verified. I know there's a few countries that have had a few issues, but that would be my tips, Chris. And again, I know we're connected on WhatsApp, so we can definitely, get even more tips. I'm also proposing interviews with some of you guys that have top-rated badges and have complete profiles. If you only have your work experience listed, 1 or 2 experiences, I'm not able to propose you because companies are accustomed to seeing full profiles, right? Giovanni has a question. I noticed that the technical terms language really makes conversations flow better. Any advice on how to become more familiar with the language used? So business acumen, right? And overall business vocabulary, Gio, is always going to be a plus. I would say it's getting that knowledge up by taking courses, right? So I'm a big evangelist on HubSpot free courses because 1, they're free. 2, you get all that business terminology, you get real life examples. And I know HubSpot's, one of many I'm mentioning that one right off the top of my head. But yeah, I would definitely recommend the best way to get more business knowledge and business jargon would be taking courses and really understanding, right? Because there's no point of using ROI, SQL, right? If we don't know what an MQL to an SQL might be, sales qualified lead, marketing qualified lead. Okay, so if we're just throwing names out there, it's not really going to help us out in the interview, because a lot of people, like on this one with Jacob, there were follow-up questions to his initial questions, right? But you're on the right path. We need to improve that business acumen, right? 2008, 2010, when I recall, it was more, hey, if you have a really good English level and you've done some telemarketing, apply and you can start getting some really good jobs. That's evolved to how Mauricio was asking about, hey, what type of GTM software would you recommend? Go to market software. What other tools are out there, because it is evolving, Gio. So in that same order of ideas, yes, acquiring more business knowledge, more business acumen is always going to be a plus. Take some courses. Make sure you ask questions. We have our WhatsApp groups where you guys could throw in questions like, hey, I just heard this, seemed pretty random. I'm pretty sure you guys are throwing it in ChatGPT first, right? You guys should throw it somewhere in AI and say, heard this. Can you tell me a little bit? Can you dumb it down for me? And you'll be able to extract that information, guys. And yeah, any other questions? Before we jump off? Good to go. All right, guys. So have a great rest of the week. We're at the hump day week. And so hopefully everyone has a productive week. If you are modifying your profiles and you believe you're top rated, right, make sure you reach out to the team. If you'd like to get onto the Boost program, make sure you get with the team. And then the last little thing, and I might actually share screens before I go to close off, guys. As you know, we are all remote. We're all independent contractors. So I don't know what country you're tuned in from, but overall, as an independent contractor, you're held liable. You're responsible for your own taxes, right? Your own benefits, your own insurance, workman's comp. So I don't know what it's called in different countries, but I'm in Colombia. I will briefly share screens on one of many offers, right? And I'm going to zoom in right here where, sorry about that one. That's an old one. Whoa, Danny. Whoa. There we go. So it is, let me see here, one of these older ones. So as you guys can see here, right? Let me zoom in on it, make sure you guys can see, right? By accepting this offer, you acknowledge that you will provide services as an independent contractor. Note, an employee of CloudTask or Craig Group, you are responsible for managing your taxes, benefits, and work arrangements following your country's regulations. The reason I'm bringing this up even more is more recently, someone that's also a friend, right? That's been in the remote workspace for about 8 to 9 years. I just found out that person is not declaring, taxes, hasn't been doing his whole due process because he was still thinking employee instead of thinking I'm an independent contractor. So once again, just using this last minute of our Skillbridge to reemphasize, guys, throw it through ChatGPT, but please speak to someone within your country and regulations and make sure that you are abiding by everything. You are not taken by surprise. And yeah, any negative outcomes come from, our own ignorance, right? So make sure that you guys jump on that immediately. If you guys have been independent contractors for quite some time and you haven't been declaring taxes, you haven't been doing the due process, make sure you speak to someone, ChatGPT it right after this Skillbridge, and that would be it. That would be it, because again, it is your responsibility as independent contractors, guys. Stay tuned, and we'll see you guys on our next Skillbridge. Have a good one.